Snark Squad, babes. It is freezing, like actually literally freezing out tonight.
Yeah.
And somehow
Just feels right.
it does. That feels like an omen for the absolute shit show that TLC just dropped on us.
Oh, the wine, flowing, the vibes, very cozy right now. But mentally, we are unwell.
Unwell is an understatement. Babes, you need wine for this one. Like, grab a glass right now. Trust us, because the blogs are going crazy today.
Completely losing their minds, and rightfully so, honestly.
Right. They're all talking about Bella and, wait, let me just take a breath. Word on the street, allegedly her and Hunter are...
Don't even say it. My heart rate is spiking just thinking about it.
Baby number 2.
Yeah.
Babes, we need to talk. I am in a full-blown existential spiral right now.
I am fundamentally, psychologically just shook to my core. Imagine undergoing major abdominal surgery and 4 days later...
4 days.
...engaging in high-risk physical activity while your mother is smirking in the next room. Today, we are looking at the terrifying breakdown of the parental safety net.
It's just the timeline alone is making me hyperventilate.
Yeah.
I need you guys to understand what we are dealing with here. She just had a baby.
Barely a week ago in television time.
Right. A whole human child was just pulled from her body. She is barely walking upright. And we are already talking about baby number 2. The absolutely horrific decision-making at play here. It's
chaos levels that shouldn't even be possible.
We are dealing with 2 middle schoolers basically trying to populate the earth while the adults in the room are actively cheering them on. I cannot handle this. I am fully spiraling.
Well, take a breath, take a massive sip of that Pinot, and ground yourself. Because to dissect the absolute mess we just witnessed, we need sustenance. We need carbs.
Oh, I am way ahead of you. Snack check. Loaded tater tots on deck.
Okay, wait, let's look at this plate for a second because we have a fundamental disagreement happening right here on the coffee table.
They're beautiful.
It perfectly mirrors the chaos we are about to discuss, honestly. Structural integrity is paramount when it comes to a loaded tot. The crunch factor is everything. It is the foundation.
I knew you were going to say this.
And you, in your frantic, overwhelmed state, have completely drowned them in sour cream.
It's a dollop.
You haven't just dolloped it, you've smothered them. You are ruining the crispiness. This makes them distinctly non-elite. You've compromised the entire architecture of the snack.
Are you kidding me right now? A soggy, cheese-soaked, sour cream-drenched tot is exactly the messy, unhinged energy we need right now.
It is a textural nightmare.
It mirrors the absolute slop we just watched on TLC. We don't need elite culinary architecture tonight. We need comfort. We need to embrace the mess because our minds are in a blender.
I mean, the structural foundation has completely collapsed under the weight of poor choices, which honestly is the perfect metaphor for every single family dynamic we are dissecting tonight. So fine, I will eat the soggy tots.
Thank you. God. This show, though, it has me zooming so far out right now, looking at the big picture. It has me genuinely thinking, is society doomed?
Doomed is a strong word, but I get it.
No, look around. I'm looking at the economy. Inflation is completely out of control. It costs like $80 just to breathe outside your front door.
True. Groceries are terrifying.
Everything is insanely expensive. We have kids growing up way too fast, practically born with iPads in their hands. We have influencers being worshipped as false idols on every single platform.
The culture is shifting, for sure.
And yet, amidst all this economic and social turmoil, we have 15-year-olds casually treating reproduction like it's a high school extracurricular activity, like it's a hobby. Are we okay?
Okay, let me pause your spiral and play devil's advocate here for a second.
Please, talk me off the ledge.
Because before we completely surrender to the void, we need some historical context. I disagree slightly that this is the literal end of days.
It feels like it.
I know it feels like it, but history has always had messy people making absolutely terrible, life-altering decisions. The human prefrontal cortex hasn't magically changed in the last 20 years.
Okay, fair.
The only difference is the media. TLC just gave the village idiots ring lights, a camera crew, a paycheck, and confessionals. The chaos has always been there, right? It's just monetized and broadcast in high definition now.
I don't know, it feels different to me. It feels deeply apocalyptic.
We aren't worse off, we just have front row seats to the dysfunction.
But when you watch the adults in the room, the people who are supposed to be the actual guardrails of society completely abandon their posts, it feels like the fabric of reality is tearing.
And that complete collapse of the parental safety net is exactly what we need to unpack tonight. The doom of society you were feeling was perfectly encapsulated in that hospital room in the dead of night.
It really was.
So let's pour another glass, squish into these soggy tots, and get into this mess.
Okay, let's start with the absolute darkest, most anxiety-inducing corner of this episode, Mia's labor nightmare,
Hmm.
and the horrifying case of the missing mother.
Straight out of a psychological thriller.
The setup alone. Mia is being induced at midnight on Friday the 13th of all days because she has been diagnosed with gestational hypertension.
Which, let's be very clear about the physiological and medical reality of what that means. Gestational hypertension isn't just a mild headache.
Right, it's serious.
It means her blood pressure has spiked to a dangerously high level, and we need to ask why a healthy teenager suddenly develops a life-threatening blood pressure spike.
Because of the adults.
Exactly. It is directly correlated to cortisol and stress. Her mother, Nicole, and her mother-in-law, AK, have been relentlessly screaming at each other.
In public.
They are fighting in parking lots. They are fighting in hospital hallways. They are engaged in a vicious turf war over a teenager's medical event.
It is so vile. They are making it entirely about themselves. Like, your daughter is in a hospital bed.
And physiologically, when a pregnant woman experiences that level of extreme, sustained stress, her body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Her blood vessels literally constrict.
Oh my God.
That constriction forces the heart to pump harder, which skyrockets the blood pressure. And the terrifying part, that constriction restricts blood flow to the placenta.
Stop. That is so scary.
It chokes off oxygen and nutrients to the baby. Nicole and AK literally stressed this teenage girl into a medical emergency. The doctors decided the only way to save the mother and the baby was to force an eviction in the middle of the night.
I am screaming at the thought of that. Her own mother's petty high school drama is physically threatening her and the unborn baby. She is literally putting her grandchild's life at risk because she cannot stop bickering.
It's the ultimate narcissism.
But amidst all this darkness, all this terrifying medical reality, we get this one tragically hilarious moment that completely broke my brain.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Mia's dad. Sweet, clueless, entirely out of his depth, Mia's dad. He is trying to comfort her. He looks out the hospital window, points out that it's a full moon, and he tells her that it's a good omen.
A completely normal, comforting thing to say to someone going into labor.
And Mia, bless her terrified teenage heart, looks at him completely dead in the eyes, entirely serious, and asks what a good almond is.
The good almond.
Like the nut. No, like the fruit. Duh. I was physically yelling at my television. I had to pause it and walk around my living room.
It's the ultimate reality TV moment. It is deeply funny on the surface, but when you peel back the layer of humor, it is a striking, terrifying reminder of exactly who we are dealing with.
Literally children.
These kids do not even possess a basic high school vocabulary. They cannot decipher the word omen from almond, yet they are bringing human life into the world.
It's so grim when you think about it.
They are about to be legally, medically, and financially responsible for another beating heart, and they don't know what an omen is. It is cognitive dissonance at its absolute peak.
It really is. You're laughing, but your stomach is in knots. But then we move past the almond comment, and the ultimate betrayal happens.
The vanishing act.
I am still not over this. I will never be over this. Both Nicole and AK fought to the absolute death to be in that delivery room.
They treated it like a VIP lounge.
Exactly. They treated the hospital like a club and Mia's legs like the velvet rope. They made her life a living hell over who gets the privilege of being in there. And then, when the midnight induction actually begins, neither of them is there.
Shocking, but also completely predictable.
Nicole goes completely MIA for 9 hours.
9 uninterrupted hours. We need to let the weight of that sink in. She fought for her right as a mother. She demanded access. She threw a tantrum that would rival a toddler in a grocery store.
Crying and screaming.
And then, when the glamorous part is over, when the grueling, boring, profoundly painful, and scary part of labor begins, she vanishes. The psychology here is textbook. She only wanted to be there for the performance of being a supportive mother, not the actual work of being one.
The Reddit threads are completely tearing her apart today, and I am here for every single word of it. People are drawing direct lines comparing Nicole to Amber Portwood and Janelle Evans.
From the MTV Cinematic Universe.
Yes. And honestly, spot on.
It is an incredibly accurate comparison. When you look at the behavioral profiles of those reality TV mothers, it's all about the appearance of motherhood masking a deep, selfish core.
Just absolute trash behavior.
It takes a very special, specific kind of villain to make your pregnant daughter cry right before a terrifying medical procedure because you decided to disappear into the night to do whatever it is you felt was more important than your child's safety.
It is giving massive, like, FaceTime me when my grandson is born energy. That is exactly what it is. She wanted the photo op, not the 3 a.m. hand-holding.
She wanted the Facebook post.
Exactly. And what makes it so much worse, so much more sinister, is what she did right before she left. She made sure to completely terrify Mia about the epidural.
Little horse needle comment.
She told her it's this giant horse-looking needle going straight into her spine. She plants this seed of absolute terror in her daughter's mind, and then she just dips.
It's emotional sabotage.
So now Mia is sitting there on heavy induction drugs, realizing she needs major medical intervention, terrified of the needle, and her mom is nowhere to be found.
She heightens her daughter's anxiety so Mia feels small and dependent, but then removes herself so Mia's left drowning in that fear alone. It's so dark.
Makes me sick.
But you know who the real hero of this entire traumatic sequence is? Mia's dad. He is the undisputed MVP of the season.
Oh my God, yes. Get this man a trophy, get him his flowers, get him a literal crown.
He is the only sane adult left in this entire fractured family tree. Now, does he do everything perfectly? No. Does he leave briefly to get a drink downstairs at the vending machine? Yes.
We forgive him for that.
But the key difference is that he knows he's out of his depth. He isn't pretending to be a medical expert. He knows he probably shouldn't be hovering right there when the nurses are checking her cervix or breaking her water.
All right, he respects the boundaries of the room.
He steps back. He lets Jesse take over the physical support, but he is fundamentally emotionally present. He awkwardly offers to sleep on a terribly uncomfortable hospital chair.
Which he definitely did not fit in.
No, not at all. He awkwardly tries to make her smile with the moon comments. He is actively trying.
The bar is in hell, babes. The bar is literally in the Earth's core, but Mia's dad is soaring over it just by not leaving the building. I just wanted to reach through the screen and hug Mia.
She looked so small in that bed.
The look on her face when the realization washed over her that Nicole wasn't coming back, my heart shattered into a million pieces. You could see the exact moment her childhood ended.
That is exactly what it was. It's the devastating realization that you have to parent yourself while simultaneously becoming a parent to someone else.
I can't even imagine that weight.
It's an incredibly heavy psychological burden to carry into an operating room. But speaking of heavy and speaking of operating rooms, we need to transition to the absolute biological and parenting disaster that is Bella and Hunter.
Oh, I am literally screaming. I was pacing my living room during this scene. 4 days. 4 days!
I know.
Bella casually sits there on national television and admits that they had sex 4 days after her C-section. Where is CPS? Who is supervising these children in this house?
Nobody. Clearly nobody.
I felt like I was losing my mind hearing those words come out of her mouth.
I have to approach this with pure, unadulterated medical horror. I need everyone listening to understand the physical reality of what we are talking about.
Please lay it out, because I don't think they understand.
Having unprotected, or as Bella ridiculously phrases it, sadly protected sex 4 days after major abdominal surgery isn't just a bad teenage choice. It is a terrifying, life-threatening physical risk.
Life-threatening.
A cesarean section is not a minor procedure. The surgeons cut through the epidermis, the subcutaneous tissue, the fascia. They manually separate the rectus abdominis muscles.
My stomach is turning.
They cut through the peritoneum, and then they slice into the uterus itself.
It is major surgery.
Exactly. You are left with an internal wound inside your uterus the size of a dinner plate where the placenta detached. You are bleeding heavily. Your body is desperately trying to knit multiple layers of tissue back together.
Just trying to heal.
Engaging in physical, penetrative activities at that stage introduces massive amounts of bacteria directly to an open internal wound.
Oh my God, stop. I'm going to throw up.
The risks of severe infection, sepsis, massive hemorrhage, or literally rupturing the internal stitches are astronomical. As one highly accurate Reddit user perfectly summarized it, Darwinism in action.
But wait, I have to push back here. Because I'm so mad at them. But is it even entirely their fault?
I mean, they made the choice.
Yes, they are making a spectacularly terrible, dangerous decision. But where are the adults? Who is letting a 13-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl sleep in the same room, unsupervised, 4 days post-surgery?
The lack of boundaries is staggering.
Falen, Bella's mom, and Hunter's parents need to be held accountable. I actually give Bella and Hunter a tiny fraction of grace because they are literal children. Their prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain responsible for risk assessment and long-term consequences are entirely underdeveloped.
Biologically, yes, they are incapable of fully grasping it.
They physically cannot compute the danger.
Yeah.
But the parents, They have fully formed brains.
You are entirely right. The parental neglect on display in that house is staggering. It goes beyond negligence and straight into active enablement. Falen literally quit her job.
I couldn't believe that when she said it.
Let's examine that. She quit her primary source of income to stay home and raise baby Wes, acting as a primary caregiver, taking night feeds and changing diapers, all so that Bella can, try out for sophomore cheer?
It is sickening. She is completely enabling this bizarre fantasy that Bella's life hasn't changed.
Yeah.
She's treating baby Wes like he is her own new child.
A do-over baby.
Yes. Her own little do-over baby, allowing Bella to just bounce back into high school life, go to cheer practice, and hang out with her boyfriend like nothing happened.
Oh.
It is the most twisted dynamic. And the text message scene.
Oh, the text.
I thought I'd taken crazy pills. Hunter texts Falen, not his girlfriend Bella, but her mother, Falen, saying he has a feeling Bella might be pregnant again.
We need a team of psychologists to break down the layers of dysfunction and boundary collapse in that single text exchange.
It's so weird.
First of all, a 13-year-old boy is texting a grown woman, his girlfriend's mother, about her teenage daughter's menstrual cycle and reproductive status.
Gross.
The enmeshment is terrifying. In family systems theory, enmeshment happens when personal boundaries are permeable and unclear. Falen has completely erased the boundary between parent and child,
She wants to be a teenager.
acting more like Bella's gossipy older sister than an authority figure. And second, we have to talk about Bella's quote in the car when they are discussing the potential pregnancy. She says, and I quote, "I can handle two, Hunter can't handle two."
The absolute staggering delusion. You cannot handle one. You aren't handling one. Your mother is raising your child.
Exactly.
It is the delusion of a child playing with dolls.
Oh.
And the terrifying use of the phrase, "We are using condoms." Sadly. Sadly. You are 15 years old. You should be sad about failing algebra. You should be sad about missing a school dance. You should not be sad about actively preventing a back-to-back teen pregnancy 4 days after your organs were sliced open.
And we cannot ignore the visual framing of that scene in the car. It tells you everything you need to know about the psychological payoff for Falen. She was practically grinning.
I saw the smirk. It was plain as day. She was loving every second of it.
She is driving the car, listening to her teenage daughter talk about potentially being pregnant again, driving her to take another pregnancy test, and she has this subtle, horrific smirk on her face.
Because it's content for her.
The enabling is off the charts because she's getting a dopamine hit from the chaos. She loves the drama. She loves being the cool mom who is in the trenches with these kids, being their confidant, instead of being the boring authority figure who puts a hard stop to it.
She would rather be their friend than their protector. It makes me so deeply sick. They're treating a human life, the creation of a second human life, like an exciting new storyline for their personal reality show.
It is repulsive.
It really is. Let's cleanse our palate for a second because my blood pressure is acting up just talking about Falen. Let's pivot to Amya and Jose's date night.
Yes, let's look at a storyline that, despite its messiness, is actually grounded in some semblance of relatable human reality.
Amya is so incredibly relatable here. It was actually hard to watch because it was so real.
Yeah.
She has gained 60 pounds post-pregnancy, and she is feeling incredibly insecure.
Very normal postpartum experience.
Right. She's trying on clothes in her bedroom for her first real date night with Jose since baby Sammy was born, and none of her old clothes fit right. She just breaks down and cries on the edge of the bed.
It's heartbreaking.
I deeply, deeply empathize with her. That feeling of your body not being your own anymore, of looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person staring back at you. It's a universal postpartum struggle.
Absolutely.
Your body just did the most extreme physical task possible. It looks different, it feels different, and the world expects you to just snap back into your old jeans. It is so hard to watch her go through that psychological toll.
It is incredibly hard, but it's important that TLC actually shows it. We so rarely see the raw, unglamorous reality of postpartum body dysphoria on television.
Usually it's just influencers snapping back in 2 weeks.
Right. The disconnect between the mind and the vessel it lives in is jarring for any new mother, let alone a teenager whose body was still changing anyway. But then we get to the actual date at the go-kart track.
Oh, no.
Amya is already feeling incredibly vulnerable. She is raw. She goes to get in the go-kart, and the seatbelt doesn't fit over her hips. It won't click.
The worst feeling.
And Jose, who I genuinely think means well, but currently possesses the emotional intelligence of a root vegetable, completely misreads the room.
A clueless teen boy in his natural habitat. He has no idea what to do. He keeps trying to force her to get back on a smaller go-kart.
It was so cringe to watch.
She is actively crying. She is humiliated in a public setting. She is wrapping her jacket around her waist. She is clearly telling him she wants to leave and go home. And he's standing there like, come on, just try the other one. Maybe if you suck it in.
He literally thought he was helping.
Read the room, Jose. Your girlfriend is in a crisis.
It's the classic male fix-it mentality clashing with a situation that requires emotional validation. He doesn't want the date night that he planned to be ruined, so he's trying to logic his way out of a deeply emotional situation.
Which never works.
Never. He thinks the problem is the seatbelt. The problem is her shattered self-esteem, and a smaller go-kart isn't going to fix that. But the real star of this entire segment, the beacon of light in this dark episode, and arguably the MVP of the entire season, is Amya's mom. Mama G.
I absolutely stand Mama G. Put her on a pedestal, God-tier status immediately.
We have to quote her iconic line because it needs to be framed in the Louvre, printed on T-shirts, and taught in therapy sessions.
Say it.
I know I'm cute. If you don't like it, guess what? Don't look. Face card don't decline.
Face card don't decline. Yes, Mama G. I was cheering in my living room.
But let's analyze why that moment was so powerful. She is the only parent actually parenting this season.
Truly.
When Amya is crying to her about her weight, Mama G doesn't offer toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is when someone says, oh, don't cry, you look fine, which actually dismisses the person's pain.
Exactly. It makes you feel crazy for being upset.
Right. Mama G doesn't do that, and she doesn't judge her either. She fiercely validates her. She reminds Amya that her body literally created, housed, and carried a human life for 9 months.
The ultimate reframe.
She reframes the weight gain from a failure to a badge of honor. She models true self-love and confidence. She tells Amya that she needs to love herself first before anyone else can.
I have chills.
It is the most healthy, grounded, psychologically sound piece of advice we have heard on this show in years.
It was a masterclass in mothering. It really was. You compare Mama G to Nicole running away from the hospital, or Falen smirking while her daughter takes a pregnancy test. It's like they are operating on completely different planets.
They really are.
Mama G is empowering her daughter. Falen is enabling hers. And speaking of toxic planets, we have to talk about Isabella and Bryce.
Ah, yes. The toxic texts.
Isabella finally, thankfully, shut Bryce out of the induction. She put her foot down and said, no means no. And honestly, I am so proud of her.
It took a lot of strength.
She is protecting her peace, she is lowering her cortisol levels, and she is focusing on her baby.
It was a crucial boundary. And how does Bryce respond to a healthy boundary? With classic textbook narcissistic manipulation.
Shocking. Not.
Let's dissect the text message he sent her, because it is chilling in its calculation. He texts her, and I quote, "Did you know I broke down crying for once? And because for once in a long-ass time I had a true smile on my face again, and I caught myself smiling, not having to force it. Did you know that also?"
It makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
It is weaponized guilt. Do you notice how it was entirely about him?
Always.
He isn't asking how she is feeling about going into labor. He isn't asking if she is scared or if the baby's heart rate is okay. He is making himself the absolute center of the universe.
The victim.
Framing himself as the tragic victim of the boundary she had to set to protect herself from his terrible behavior.
It is a perfect example of DARVO, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. He's experiencing a narcissistic injury because she took away his control by banning him from the room.
Right.
So he uses the true smile line to shift the spotlight back onto his emotional state. It's the look how much you hurt me by not letting me abuse you tactic.
It's so transparent.
He wants her sitting in that hospital bed, about to push a baby out, feeling guilty about his tears. It is emotional vampirism.
Ugh, vampirism is the perfect word.
And we have to ask, where does a teenage boy learn this specific brand of manipulation? From his enablers. We have to heavily shade Bryce's family here, especially the patriarch, Papa, Grandpappy Smith.
Oh, I hate him. I actively, passionately hate Papa. The way he speaks, the way he carries himself. You just know his Facebook page is unhinged.
His entire family acts as a shield for this toxic male behavior. They operate on this deeply entrenched generational patriarchal entitlement.
Yes, they act like Isabella is the cruel villain for keeping Bryce away.
Completely ignoring the fact that Bryce abandoned her in a parking lot when she was vulnerable.
Just drove away.
They coddle him. They reinforce his victim complex. They teach him that his feelings are paramount and women's boundaries are just obstacles to be whined about until they crumble.
I am so thankful Isabella is holding strong and keeping him away from the delivery room. Can you imagine the chaotic, stressful energy he would bring into that sterile space.
Pacing around, sighing heavily.
Exactly. She's about to have a baby, the most vulnerable moment of her life, and he'd be over the corner whining about his true smile and demanding attention from the nurses. Boy, bye. Stay home with Papa.
Well, it is obvious this entire sequence of events was a masterclass in what not to do. Which brings us to the hardest task of the night, categorizing these disasters.
Oh, it's time.
If we are looking at the absolute worst choices made tonight, the competition for decision-making disaster is stiff.
It is a crowded field of terrible choices.
We have nominee number 1, Bella and Hunter's post-op extracurriculars.
Wow.
As we discussed in horrifying medical detail, having sex 4 days after a C-section is a terrifying physical risk. It is a decision rooted in a complete lack of biological understanding and basic self-preservation.
Definitely.
It is a terrible choice made by children who are playing house with real-world life-or-death consequences.
But again, I have to defend the kids slightly. Is it really their bad decision, or is it the adults who facilitated it?
I hear you, but they still did it.
The kids are dumb, yes. Teenagers are notoriously dumb, but the adults are grossly negligent. You cannot leave a toddler near a hot stove and then blame the toddler when they get burned.
That is a fair sociological point. The environment created by the adults enabled the bad decision. But let's look at nominee number 2, Nicole's disappearing act.
The audacity, the sheer, unadulterated audacity of fighting tooth and nail for delivery room access, throwing a massive fit, raising your pregnant teenage daughter's blood pressure to the point of a midnight induction.
Terrifying her
with stories of giant needles in her spine, and then literally walking out the sliding glass doors of the hospital to do God knows what for 9 hours.
So, if we're weighing these offenses, who wins the decision-making disaster?
It has to be Nicole.
For me, it has to be Nicole, too. The teens, as you pointed out, are making terrible choices out of ignorance, surging hormones, underdeveloped brains, and a lack of parental supervision. Right. Nicole, however, makes the worst choice out of pure selfish malice and entitlement. She's a fully grown adult. She knows exactly what she's doing.
She knew Mia was scared.
She knows her daughter is in pain. She knows she is scared. And she actively, consciously chooses to abandon her when she is needed most.
I completely agree. The verdict is absolutely in. Nicole takes the crown for the worst decision of the night. The damage she did to Mia's heart in that hospital room isn't just a bad night. It is permanent psychological scarring.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to the people who desperately need a mirror held up to their faces. The reality check moment.
Our mission here is identifying the person whose delusion requires an immediate harsh intervention before they ruin more lives.
And the primary culprit here, without a shadow of a doubt, is Falen.
Wow.
Bella's mom. I cannot get over her behavior. I will be haunted by that smirk in the car for the rest of my life.
It was chilling.
Quitting your job to be the primary caregiver so your teen daughter can live out a normal high school fantasy is one thing. It's deeply misguided. It's financially irresponsible.
Yeah.
But maybe, if you squint, you could argue it comes from a twisted place of love.
Maybe.
But smirking while your 15-year-old takes another pregnancy test, acting like this is a fun little gossip session for you to manage, she is living through her daughter's chaos in the most toxic way possible.
Here is the brutal reality check Falen desperately needs to hear. She thinks she is the cool mom. She genuinely believes she is successfully, progressively co-parenting with a 13-year-old boy.
Which is insane.
She needs to realize that by removing all consequences, by quitting her job to raise the baby, by letting them sleep together under her roof, by treating a life-altering pregnancy scare like a juicy secret, she is setting her daughter up for a lifetime of struggle.
Decades of it.
She isn't helping Bella. She is actively crippling her ability to function as an independent adult. When Bella is 25 and doesn't know how to handle a single obstacle because Falen smoothed over every bump, Falen will only have herself to blame.
Exactly. You are not her friend, Falen. You are her mother. Act like it. And our secondary culprit for a desperately needed reality check is, of course, Bryce.
Always Bryce.
Bryce needs the reality check that sending a guilt-tripping text about his true smile isn't going to win him Father of the Year.
It's transparent, it's manipulative, and quite frankly, it's pathetic.
It really is.
He needs to realize that his actions abandoning his pregnant girlfriend have actual consequences, and Isabella is finally enforcing them. The era of Paw bailing him out of his bad behavior needs to end.
It is so wild to see the contrast between Falen completely failing to be a mother and the actual parenting or lack thereof we saw in the hospital rooms. If we're categorizing these adults into who is a parent and who is a problem, the lists are very lopsided.
Very. Let's start with the problems, because there are many.
Nicole, for obvious reasons. As one brilliant Reddit user pointed out, having a relationship with your adult or teenage children is a privilege, not a right.
That is a bar.
It is something you earn through trust and support. She lost that privilege the second she walked out of that hospital.
Completely agreed. Next problem, AK, Mia's mother-in-law. She is equally petty, fighting in the parking lot, fighting in the hospital room, actively contributing to a pregnant teen's spiking blood pressure.
Dry.
She is a grown woman who cannot put her massive ego aside for the literal health and safety of her unborn grandchild. She is a massive problem.
And Paul and Bryce's family. Enabling toxic male behavior makes you a huge problem. You're creating a monster, feeding the monster, and then defending the monster when he bites people.
Exactly.
Throw them all away. Put them in the garbage.
So amidst all this garbage, who are the parents actually stepping up? Who is providing the safety net?
Mia's dad. He might not understand what an epidural is. He might confuse the word omen with the word almond. But babes, he showed up.
She stayed in the room.
And sometimes that is the entire job description. Just being there, sitting quietly in the corner, holding space, and awkwardly offering to go downstairs for a Diet Coke is exactly what a parent is supposed to do.
Yeah.
He provided a safe, non-toxic, non-demanding presence.
It is the power of quiet support versus loud abandonment. And of course, the other parent stepping up is Mama G. She is absolute god tier.
I love her.
She didn't judge Amya's 60-pound weight gain. She didn't suggest a diet. She hyped her up. She reminded her of the biological miracle her body just performed, and she modeled true, unshakable self-love.
I have to ask you, though, can any of these problem parents be redeemed?
I don't think so.
Like if Nicole comes back into that hospital room in the next episode with a bouquet of balloons and a Starbucks coffee, does she get a pass?
Yeah.
Do we forgive her?
Absolutely not. The trauma has already been inflicted. You cannot unabandon your child during an emergency C-section. A balloon doesn't fix the fact that you weren't there when the surgeon was making the incision. Throw all the problem parents away. Keep Mama G and me as dad. That's the only salvageable adult material we have on this entire network right now.
Which brings us to the future, the dread of what is to come. If we are predicting the chaos based on the previews and the completely unhinged trajectories of these storylines, I am terrified.
Let's start with the pregnancy test. Bella, in the bathroom, with the digital test. Will she be pregnant?
Please say no.
The preview shows Chris, Hunter's dad, reacting to the news. The quote from the preview is that Chris will lose his vomit if the test is positive.
Lose his vomit. I cannot. The phrasing is so gross but so funny.
We are sitting here speculating on the physiological impossibility of a positive test just 4 weeks after giving birth, but honestly, with the absolute lack of scientific logic in this universe, nothing would surprise me.
Literally nothing.
The terrifying reality is that it might be true. And if that test says pregnant, that household is going to implode. Falen's smirk is going to vanish real quick when she realizes she has to raise 2 infants while Bella goes to cheer practice.
God, what a mess. And then we have the C-section fallout. Mia is going to wake up from a major traumatic surgery. The heavy drugs will wear off. She is going to hold her new baby, and she's going to look around that stark white room. Will Nicole be there?
Based on the behavioral patterns we've seen, I predict a massive, heartbreaking scene where Mia realizes her mom never came back, or came back entirely too late with a terrible excuse.
We'll blame traffic or something.
It is going to be the catalyst for a permanent cutoff. She is going to look down at her own vulnerable child in her arms and realize, in that exact moment, that she could never abandon her baby the way Nicole abandoned her.
Wow.
It will be the moment Mia truly becomes a mother by rejecting her own.
I am already tearing up just thinking about it. It is going to be devastating. And finally, Isabella's delivery. Will Bryce crash the hospital?
Isabella threatened to have him arrested. She looked right at the camera and said, "I'll get him arrested, at least thrown out of the hospital."
As she should.
And I am praying for maximum security at that maternity ward. If Paw rolls up in the waiting room demanding to see his legacy, or if Bryce shows up crying about his true smile, I am going to lose my mind.
Babes, the freezing vibes are still going strong outside. The wind is howling. The wine is still flowing in here, thank God. And the tater tots. The soggy sour cream drenched tater tots.
Absolutely demolished, against my better judgment.
And our existential crisis about the state of the world fully, completely cemented. We are unwell, our faith in humanity is hanging by a thread, but we survived another week of TLC chaos.
Barely survived.
I need to hear from the Snark Squad right now. Drop into the comments, slide into our DMs, let us know what you are thinking. What are your thoughts on Bella and Hunter? Are we overreacting, or is this 4-day timeline actually the wildest thing ever broadcast on television?
It's the wildest thing, but do you think Mia will finally find the strength to cut Nicole off for good?
I hope so. And babes, the biggest question of the night, are we actually doomed as a society, or are we just being dramatic? If TLC is the mirror we hold up to ourselves, maybe we deserve the existential dread. Maybe this is our punishment for watching.
A truly provocative final thought for everyone to chew on. We are the architects of our own reality TV demise. We demand the mess, and then we cry when it's messy.
Do forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Send your most unhinged submissions and opinions to us. Send this chat to your most chaotic bestie who desperately needs a reality check on their own toxic traits. Thank you, Snark Squad, for riding out this spiral with us. We couldn't do it without you.
Stay shady.
Stay iconic, and we'll see you on the Snark side.